Alright, boys. Today we got a new creator, man, on the channel, Barneyslayer. So what do I know of Barneyslayer? So Barneyslayer, I haven't watched his YouTube videos, but I've seen his TikToks, man. Dude, I be scrolling on TikTok and I see him, bro. I absolutely enjoy his like character analysis, bro. Dude, he's really good at like talking about the bro. The way he talked about ReZero and like the understanding of characters and how he analyzes characters is very interesting. So I do know about his TikTok content, but I haven't really seen his YouTube video. So I recommend it to me. Please stop disrespecting ReZero. Who is disrespecting ReZero, man? Let's see what we got today, bro.
Please, for the love of God, stop disrespecting ReZero. To which you
Mm,
may say, Barney, what are you talking about? If anything, ReZero is more popular right now than it's ever been before. It's getting
yeah.
better ratings right now than it ever has before. And by all means, this video is solely arbitrary and it's very semantics based, but it's semantics that drive me quite literally insane as
Mm.
somebody who loves the series. To which everything you said is true. Yes, ReZero is getting better ratings than it ever has before, but for years now, there has been this weird, I don't even know how to explain it, connotation, feeling, or vibe regarding ReZero, and it's been subjected and belittled to its own little, isekai corner when it comes to media as a whole.
Ooh, I know what he means. I know what he means. Did y'all see? Did y'all see what Crunchyroll? Did y'all see what Crunchyroll does with the awards? They don't put it in the anime of the year category. They put it in like best isekai. So like already that's already like what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like they don't put it in like the anime of the year and they just put it in isekai. And I also see like the whole thing about like it only being like an isekai and all that, and a lot of people don't really give it a shot because of that.
Or when it comes to media as a whole, instead of being broadened out and looked at on a larger scale. And
Mm,
this is an issue I've had with the community and how they react to ReZero for a very long time now. So today's video is going to just be talking about that, going into that, IMBD ratings, so on and so forth. So if you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Since
okay.
ReZero first came out, it has kind of had some weird agendas pushed on it, to which can
Mm.
be due to a multitude of reasons, mostly due to Subaru's character,
Subaru.
many people misunderstanding him, many people not understanding, his backstory, where he came from, so on and so forth, his identity issues, a lot of people seeing themselves within Subaru, not liking that, people.
He is spitting right now. This is why. This is why. When I started the ReZero reactions, what happened? When I started the ReZero reactions, what happened? Everyone in the comment section, yo, chill on Subaru. Chill on Subaru. Like, like Subaru's a good character. And I'm like, what the fuck? What happened? What's gonna make me hate him? And I never hated him. But for a lot of people, they will. Because why? They're gonna get to the point, they're gonna get to season 1, episode 13. Here we go. Here we go. This is where it goes. This is how it goes. We get to season 1, episode 13. Oh boy. Then what? Season 1, episode 15. Okay. Then we go to 18. All right. 16, 17 is like that kind of like the transition to the big time episode 18. This is where it really goes downhill for a lot of people. I love Amelia. I love Amelia. And that's where it ends for a lot of people. And they just don't like Subaru. Because season 1, episode 13 is where it begins, right? Right? The crazy moment with Subaru. Yo, you have a debt that you could never repay. A lot of people just, will not accept that characters with flaws and with crazy like I guess like moments like that, good writing, right? A lot of people won't be able to accept that. And also the fact that they'll see themselves within that, right? Like how Barney's saying here, right? The fact that you see a character like Subaru suffering, right? Suffering, feeling like this like feeling of, I guess like the whole shut-in thing, feeling despair, right? Hopeless, self-hatred, right? This character where it's just like very tragic. And a lot of people, right? Obviously, you can't see yourself as Subaru in the way of Return by Death, but no shit. But you can see a lot. You can see yourself and a lot of the themes about the self-hatred and all that, right? And being a shut-in, right? Not doing much with your life. Like a lot of people probably just get turned off at that, bro. Like a lot of people probably get turned off at that, and they just like don't like that, right? Because why? Because why? A lot of people watch anime to escape reality. you know? They watch anime to escape reality, not be reminded of it. So in a way, a lot of people might see themselves in Subaru and be reminded of their reality. They're like, "Oh fuck, no. I'm not trying to watch this." You know? It's and maybe it's not even just that. Maybe it's not even just that. But just the fact that like Subaru has so many fuck ups, right? He fucks up a lot in season 1, especially like the episode 13. A lot of people hate that shit. And then the final thing is just episode 18, like I mentioned before. Because what? People love Rem. People are absolutely loving Rem, and because Amelia doesn't have the same amount of screen time, they're obviously gonna be like more catered to Rem, who has a lot of more screen time and a lot of more character development. And then once they get to episode 18 and they see Subaru go, I love Amelia, that's even more hate towards Subaru because of the decision that he made there. And it just keeps going and going, bro. Like, you could talk about that a lot, right? Whether it be 13, 18, it's just a lot of episodes, a lot of examples of why people just don't like Subaru. It's annoying, man, you know? Yeah, exactly. Most people want character they can insert themselves in a power fantasy. Exactly. Like, what do you think? Why do you think there's so many isekai or like isekai, or hell, even romance anime, right? Like the true power fantasy. For example, romance anime. The loser guy that you know, the loser that sits at the back of the class, gets no bitches, is like a shut-in, but then the most popular girl in class goes up to him. And then for isekai, like, gets reincarnated to another world, and you're just like the strongest, and go defeat the demon king, you got a harem, and and all that shit. You know what I mean? Gets with famous girl, yep. Like, it's just the power fantasy stuff, right? For the audience, and hell, even for the author himself. But self-insert with Subaru is very different. The self-insert for Subaru goes way deeper with the traumas, right? With the self-hatred and all that, right? The mistakes, the fuck-ups, right? The hopelessness. But the self-insert there is different. Very different. Hell, a lot of people don't even want to do that because it's Subaru. So it's just, yeah, that just goes very deep, man. He made an amazing point there.
character, many people misunderstanding him, many people not understanding, his backstory, where he came from, so on
Hmm.
and so forth, his identity issues, a lot of people seeing themselves within Subaru, not liking that, people having this weird misconception, especially with an anime, that the main character has to be good and 100% transparent and always be in the right at all given times,
Exactly.
when truly that is not the case, and protagonists can and should be wrong at given times.
When a protagonist is wrong and shows flaws, it gives way more depth to the character and way more of a connection, in my opinion. Like, you need a character to fuck up and do mistakes. So when the good happens, it feels even more rewarding. And hell, you even feel more of a connection to the character, like, oh my god, I saw this guy grow, man. Like like it just feels like it has like that connection, you know?
Should be wrong at given times. To which I swear to God, this stupid Gigak video did so much
Oh,
damage to everything he's talked about regarding ReZero, whether it be his ReZero in 8 minutes or that video right there, has done so much damage to the ReZero community. It's not even funny. I mean, there are connotations and impressions from this type of stuff right here that has just left an impression on ReZero and will never not leave an impression. Like, its stain is there and it will stay forever. To which
oh man, yeah, I've heard about this. So for me, for me, I've obviously seen the ReZero in 80 minutes. I can see why. It was kind of a fun watch, but I could see like, yo, the entire episode 13 scene in ReZero in 8 minutes was, oh my god, man. Yeah, I could see why the damage. Now, this video I haven't seen, but this title is crazy. Gigug, what are we doing? I smacked the hell out of my mic. Gigug, what are we doing, bro? I mean, this is 9 years ago, but ReZero is no masterpiece, but it's still entertaining. Oh man. I could see why this like did some damage. Son.
not leave an impression. Like its stain is there and it will stay forever. To which I think is just so ridiculous. The show was not given a fair chance from
Wow.
the start. All the way back into 2016, even when that first season came out, so much of the dialogue was misconstrued and taken away from the actual great story it
Hmm.
was trying to portray about self-love, worthy connections, what
Hmm.
makes a connection validated, what makes a love, true. And instead focused on the silliest of things such as quote unquote waifu wars and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And it was held in the same regard as something like SAO and compared to these other slop isekai, to which that term within itself, isekai. People will use the term isekai, whether you think isekai holds a negative connotation or not. The harsh truth is that it does. On a
Yeah.
broader anime scale, when people think of isekai, they're thinking of slop like that time I got reincarnated as a vending machine. No diss to, of course, you're fans of that show, but
Yeah.
that's what's coming to mind. So when people hear ReZero is an isekai, they automatically try to just subject it to the box that is isekai instead.
Yep. I definitely. That's the issue. Okay, that's also an issue. When it's boxed into isekai, it also I feel like that element of popularity drops. Like what? Okay, for example, like like what? How do I say that? Like, what was a good example? Battle Shonen. Why do you think Battle Shonen do so good? Because most of the most of the genre of isekai has like a very bad rep, especially with the slop, right? Like the memes, the slop, the memes, right? And a lot of like misunderstanding with like the isekai genre and the animes and like the bad reputation they got. Battle Shonen, bro. Dude, Battle Shonen are like it's like the most popular shit, bro. Everyone enjoys it. It's like the most popular stuff, right? Like mainstream shit, right? But once like something has like the isekai title of it, I feel like the popularity just automatically drops. Have y'all noticed that? Like, for example, like I don't know, like for example, like I don't know, like Attack on Titan, like everyone knows Attack on Titan, like most people have watched it, like but like ReZero, like for example, like me personally, like I got a lot of friends that have watched, like most of my friends have watched Attack on Titan, but I only have one that's watched ReZero. There's the difference, you know what I mean? Like I feel like the popularity as well, and just also like the title, right? The title of Isekai, right? And then also the point he made over here. Back in 2016, obviously I wasn't there, but from what I can see from the comments and from what you guys are saying, and obviously the ReZero and 8 minutes video is also a good example. The waifu wars, Ram versus Amelia. The fact that that's like the main thing as well, that's a lot of bad damage, man. That's really bad damage. The themes, the beautiful themes of ReZero, like the learning of self love, how he mentioned, right? How Subaru, hates himself, but and tries to do everything by himself, and the burden of trying to do everything by himself, and learning to, accept other people helping him and loving him. Like those beautiful themes of ReZero, like that show of growth was pretty much overshadowed by shit like that. And that's like the biggest thing right there, bro. That sucks. And who like do y'all know? Do y'all even like since like obviously y'all been here for a while, like with ReZero, like does anyone in chat know like if y'all could tell if there was like a certain part or like a certain year where ReZero had like a big turning point? You know what I mean? Like maybe back in 2016 people didn't appreciate its writing. But like what was a year that y'all noticed like damn, like people are like starting to actually like see the greatness of ReZero and then like the writing like the writing is actually good. You know what I mean? Like, was there like ever like a great shift? Because from what it looks of it, like back then, people really didn't give a fuck. You know, people focused on the girls and forgot about the message of the show. Exactly. People focused on the girls. Wasn't there back, but the fandom was in dark ages. They viewed it as generic, enjoyable isekai. When season 2 came out, 2023 or 2024? Okay. Okay. See, that sounds about right. Season 2, when you heard I Love Amelia stuff. Okay. See, so like, damn. So around the season 1 time, it was rough. Season 2, 2020. Okay. So maybe when season 2 came out, maybe even like 2023, 2024. Okay. Interesting. So season 1 was a dark age. From the looks of it, from what I'm hearing here, 2016, 2017, like dark age of ReZero. At least like the fandom, right? Okay. Damn. All right.
to just subject it to the box that is isekai instead of giving it, the respect of an anime as a whole. I think the
Mm.
best example of this is how, for whatever reason, I don't know why, with the Crunchyroll Awards, which I know semantics, I don't care about the Crunchyroll Awards. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, obviously.
Wait. Did we go? Did we go too far in, or are we
Instead of
good?
giving it, the respect of an when people hear ReZero is an isekai, they automatically try to just subject it to the box that is isekai instead of giving it, the respect of an anime as a whole. I think the best example of this is how, for whatever reason, I don't know why, with the Crunchyroll Awards, which I know semantics, I don't care about the Crunchyroll Awards. It doesn't matter, obviously. But for
Wait.
semantics sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about this. ReZero is subjected to the best isekai category.
Okay, I mentioned this. I just mentioned this exactly. Why do they do this? I just mentioned. Why do they do this? Like, I seen that shit. It's like, why? Put it in Enemy of the Year. What, are they afraid it's gonna win every time? Would it even win every time? Because people just like glaze Battle Shonen. So like, would they like the average like most audiences are like like probably just gonna vote Battle Shonen. So like, what putting it here make a difference? Like, would it actually win? I mean, I would love to believe it would actually win. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to believe that every time it's on there, it wins. But like, that's interesting, bro. Bro, does it? It does feel personal. You're fucking up the subs. You're fucking up the subs. The marketing sucks. You don't put it in Enemy of the Year, and you put it in a different category, in the Isekai category. Like, why? Why? What does Crunchyroll have against ReZero? And then, okay, no, this is gonna be the worst part. They're gonna do the same shit this year, huh? They're not gonna put an Enemy of the Year, bro. Dude, I bet this shit would have won, bro. Dude, I bet ReZero season 4 would have like probably won, or like had like a very good case, man. That sucks. Subaru's VA better win an award. Okay, true. Okay, Subaru's VA better win an award though. Subaru's VA needs to win. I don't give a fuck. This season, his perform. Okay, no, not even this season, but I mean, no, this season is like what's gonna be in the anime awards, in the Crunchyroll awards. But season 4, like, dude, he's been cooking, man. The last episode, bro, peak. Episode 8, bro, every episode. It's not even glazed. Every episode. But like a good example, like the episode 8 performance of him like falling down the stairs, right? And like him like hitting himself and shit. Like that was crazy. You know? Like his performance is amazing. His performance is amazing, bro. They dead ass. Subaru, they didn't even put Subaru as best MC and instead put Sung Jin Woo. Wait, did Subaru get nominated as best MC? Like they just didn't? No. Never. You're fucking lying. No nomination. Subaru shit. Don't be rage based bud. What? So if you're in the isekai category, no matter how peak you are and how good you are, you're just doomed to pretty much be put in a separate box. That is horrible. That's annoying. Best Isekai is the only section where it's been nominated. I don't even remember if it won. That's so annoying, man. Wow, the disrespect. By the way, they get fantasy to Demon Slayer? You're lying. Like, okay. Like, I know, like, okay, no. I know, like, who cares about Crunchyroll? I would love to say that. Okay, I would love to say that, but guys, Crunchyroll is, no matter how much we hate it, no matter how much it fucks up, it's still, like, the biggest streaming service, right? Like, the biggest, like, marketing, like, stuff for, like, anime in general, right? For like, for US and stuff, right? For, like, English speakers. So, I mean, in general, right? Like, Spanish and all that, right? But you know what I mean? Like, in general, like it's just like the biggest, right? Like outside Japan and all that, right? Like that's why it's like even though we don't like really like agree with Crunchyroll, we don't like Crunchyroll, we say fuck Crunchyroll, and it fucks up. It still has that image of it being the biggest. So that's why that's why like it still like pisses me off. That's why it still like angers us because it's still like the biggest like nomination stuff. Like for example, Crunchyroll nominations or like an entire different site that you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like which one are you gonna care about more? That's the thing about it. I mean, it is also a popularity contest, but whatever, man. Yeah, it just sucks.
with the Crunchyroll Awards, which I know semantics. I don't care about the Crunchyroll Awards. It doesn't matter, obviously. But for semantics' sake, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about this.
Kind of like what he said right here, right? For semantics' sake, bro.
ReZero is subjected to the best isekai category time and time again. It's put under best isekai. When I look at these lists, this list of shows that are also being nominated, you cannot tell me ReZero should not be nominated amongst these shows. Like
Exactly.
you cannot tell me that it should not be there.
Exactly.
And it's just this weird thing that's happened for so long now, and I don't understand why. I don't fully grasp the root issue. If I had to guess, my best theory would be it's a mix of, the original perception of season one all the way back then, and a mix with the fact that people cannot, grasp their mind around the idea of an isekai actually being good. That term
Yeah.
isekai, in the funniest of senses, even though it's, been and done so much for ReZero, and a lot of ReZero is built around being the deconstruction of an isekai as a whole, and, the fanatical escapism ideas that many people try to delve into within that sub-genre and, try to place themselves into another fantasy and run away from their problems within real life, so on and so forth. You get
Exactly.
what I'm saying is also the same exact double-edged sword that has boxed it into not being able to broaden out on a larger scale and appeal to a larger audience, because people go ahead and just hear that term and write it off without actually giving it a chance.
That is the issue. That's it right there. That term isekai, bro. There fucking is. And also, I think you mentioned what over here?
Try to place themselves into another fantasy and run away from
Yeah.
their problems within real life.
Yeah. The entire thing about like the self-insert, the power fantasy. ReZero isn't like the entire isekai genre in a way it's like that, right? The entire like from what I've heard, right? From what I heard, 99% of isekai are like slop. And then like 1% is like the gem. You know what I mean? Like for example, like I got reincarnated as a vending machine, like he mentioned. What else? Like what's another like crazy one? Like like the long ass titles, bro? Like this fucking crazy like 5 lines, bro. What was the other one? There was one where there was like one about like level 100. Oh, was it like level 100 gotcha? Was that the name of it? There was like a long ass title, bro. And it's shit like that, bro. So that right there gives isekai a bad rep, right? Reincarnated with a smartphone, isekai smartphone. There's too many, yeah. But like 99% of them, yeah. The titles are like long as fuck. 99% of isekai have like those titles, and they're like because they're slop. But then there's like the 1% that are gem, right? Like ReZero, Mushoku Tensei, Tensura, Eminence and Shadow, like stuff like that people love, right? Those are like the biggest isekais, right? What else? Like like there's a lot, right? Like Tanya, Overlord, Konosuba, like see like that's like the 1% gem. Maybe you could like elevate the number to like 2% or how much you want to put, but yeah. There's like the little part, they're like, this peak, right? This like really good. But the fact that they're like labeled isekai, it's already a fucking issue. And then for ReZero specifically, it's Subaru. Subaru and the characters and like the theme of failure and fucking up, right? Having so many flaws, right? Like that is something that people can't grasp, and people that don't, and something that people don't really want to dive into because they want to escape reality. They don't want to be reminded of reality. You know what I mean?
that has boxed it into not being able to broaden out on a larger scale and appeal to a larger audience, because people go ahead and just hear that term and write it off without actually giving it a chance. They automatically
Yeah.
assume, and of course mixed with the dialogue around it from people like Gigak and so on and so forth, and
Mm-hmm.
the Rem fans and all those sort of things, and also the art style doesn't help, but that's another topic for another day, that it's going to be that said slop. But of course, when you actually watch it, it is quite the opposite, and it subverts your expectations, which on one hand is great. The subversion of expectations, I think, leads to people liking it a lot more than they normally would. But at the same exact time, it's these same expectations that keep people from ever picking it up or touching it to begin with, because of
Yeah.
the community dialogue around it. And I truly think it is a series that was not given a fair chance from the very start. Like I said, whether that be through the community reaction to it or bigger creators, for whatever reason, room temperature IQ creators not having an understanding of what is actually being portrayed. And
Ooh, ooh, shots fired. Yo, shots fired. Yo, Barney going at the creators, man. Shots fired. Oh shit. Based. Yo,
to it, or
shots
bigger
fired.
creators, for whatever reason, room temperature IQ creators not having an
Oh
understanding
shit.
of what is actually being portrayed, and so not giving it their full undivided attention, and then making silly videos, so on and so forth. That mixed
Mm.
with the fact that a platform like Crunchyroll, for whatever weird reason, seems to have some sort of hatred for ReZero as a whole, and
Yeah.
there's literally no marketing for it within the West. There's
Yep.
no promotion for it. They always get the translations wrong, which I know this is just a Crunchyroll issue as a whole and their corporate slop, but yeah, it's like ReZero has it especially bad, at least from what I've seen. And I think all
Mhm.
of this, mixed with the fact that ReZero fans themselves, or I guess you could say the web novel and light novel readers, I myself am being one, also can't stomach the idea of their anime not being a direct one-to-one to their novel at every
Oh,
given moment. I've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to go ahead and regurgitate, words I've said before, but
yes. What I already mentioned too. They just have something against ReZero. Yeah. They like just have something against ReZero. Doesn't matter if like translations or marketing or whatever the fuck. They just have something against ReZero, man. And what he mentioned right here,
from what I've seen, and I think all of
the novel, yeah, the novel reader like elitist, right? This is also an issue. This is also an issue from like in terms of trying to popularize and like give like more attention to ReZero. This puts ReZero in a bad light. The novel readers that like complain every single time and that like they don't think that the adaptation is good, or like they're like you know 1-to-1, you know what I mean, um that right there is what sucks, you know what I mean. That right there is what sucks and gives ReZero a bad reputation, a bad light, and the people and the people that like haven't watched ReZero and see this shit are gonna get turned off, bro. They don't even want to see it. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna even want to see it. Also, the image here is just like the Crunchyroll thing. I mean, I can move like myself to the left, but like it's just a Crunchyroll, like like a Subaru and Amelia thing right here. So yeah. But yeah, man, Naruto's are ungrateful. Season 3 and 4 has at least amount of cut content. That too. Super doing parkour is the only thing I like to see in the anime, but generally understand some things need to be cut. Exactly. Another thing, okay, another thing that people need to come to realize and accept: cut content will happen no matter what. Whether it be budget, whether it be time, whatever the case may be, it will always happen. Especially with an anime adaptation that it obviously anime isn't the same as a novel. A novel probably has like a lot of like narration and thoughts that of characters that just can't make it in and it wouldn't make sense. Okay, so it's already cooked from the start. It's already different from the start. It's the nature of adaptations. It's just how it is. But people will always complain, and it's a very strong thing with ReZero, and this is why a lot of people that haven't watched ReZero will get turned off and maybe and never watch it because of this nature of people talking like novel readers talking like this. And obviously, it's not every novel reader, but there's a lot of them that just act like this and just doom, like they're doomers, right? The novel doomers every single time, man. But it is what it is.
it especially bad, at least from what I've seen. And I think all of this, mixed with the fact that ReZero fans themselves, or I guess you could say the web novel and light novel readers, I myself am being one, also can't stomach the idea of their anime not being a direct one-to-one to
Hmm.
their novel
Literally
at every given
impossible.
moment. I've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to go ahead and regurgitate, words I've said before. But like I said many, many times, anime is not meant to be a direct one-to-one to the novels. Things are
Hmm.
going to get cut, things are going to get changed. Man, anime is meant to elevate things that a novel cannot and promote the series on a larger scale. To which, yes, there is undoubtedly some annoying cuts within ReZero, especially within season one. Things regarding Al, things regarding the world
Okay,
building, so
yeah.
on and so forth. But nothing so, I guess you could say, appalling to the fact that it would take away from the core story of ReZero, and somebody watching the anime would not get a different interpretation from if they were, watching in the sense of like actually watching, not, like scrolling on their phone and watching,
Yeah.
would not get a different understanding or, outcome than they would if they had just read the novels. Of course,
Yes, exactly. Right here. Before, like, we keep going, I want to touch more on this point right here. The cut content will always happen. It's impossible to have a one-to-one adaptation. And then what he mentioned here was like the example of like arc one, like season one stuff being cut. Context is so important, but people will ignore context and just like do them anyway. Why was season one like Al stuff cut? Why was so much season two or season one, my bad, season one cut stuff? Because they didn't expect the season two to happen, right? If I'm not mistaken. Season two, they didn't expect the season two to happen. If I'm not mistaken. So like the reason that like they like, cut corner or not really cut corners, but like just like cut stuff, right? Or like future like plot lines or like reveals is because they didn't even expect a season two to happen. So that's why, right? Context is very important, but even with context, I guess like you could say it like sucks, but that's proof right there that no matter what, there will be cut content. And sometimes it's big cut content, maybe it's even small cut content. But even if it's small cut content, people still complain, man. Like, this is rough, bro. For some reason, only Break Time Season 1 is officially translated and some cut content is put there. Oh yeah, that's true. That as well. If I'm not mistaken, Alan Arc 3 was still ongoing when Season 1 aired. Oh. Wait, what? LN Arc 3 was still ongoing when Season 1 aired. That's interesting. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Well, yeah, there you go. Like, there was no expectations for Season 2, man. And even then, Season 2 also had a lot of cut content, but that's also an example of, okay, Season 2 had a lot of cut content, but that's also an example of more context. Quarantine. You know what I mean? Quarantine, COVID, right? A lot of, like, production issues, studio issues, right? Then on top of that, right, like the fact that Arc 4 was so big and we had 25 episodes, so we had to do a lot of cut content as well to fit everything. Like, there is so much that goes into an anime adaptation, and it's literally impossible to be one-to-one with a novel that is also just words, bro. Like with an anime, for example, in the novel, if they talk about the specifics of a character breathing and moving around in the anime, they're not gonna narrate it or talk about it, they just show it. Like that's already a big difference that people need to like accept, right? So yeah.
somebody watching the anime would not get a different interpretation from if they were, watching in the sense of like actually watching, not, like scrolling on their phone and watching, would not get a different understanding or, outcome than they would if they had just read the novels. Of course, they might be more explicit and, explained a little bit better within the novels, but the same interpretation can be grasped from the anime. So what I'm getting at is that it is the same story as a whole. And so that
Hmm.
leads me to what I want to bridge this to as a whole, the IMBD ratings. Again,
Oh yeah.
semantics. I don't care about IMBD ratings. I have gone forth and said multiple times, it doesn't matter, especially nowadays. There is an issue with IMBD ratings and MAL ratings and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because the review bombing is such a fucking stupid thing that happens with like every anime, but with ReZero, it's really bad. Before like, he keeps going here, let me take a look at here. Whoa. Wait, I've never seen the ratings. I've never seen the ratings, like all of them. Wait. Episode 2 7 point. What the fuck? Why? The yellow. Really? The 8s are still here though. Oh my god. Of course. Look at this. Look at this. Of course. Is that episode 12 and 13? Yep. That's episode 12 and 13. It's a yellow 7.3, 7.5. Are these the lowest? These are the lowest in the series. Dude, this just shows. This is the great filter right here. This is the great filter. Episode 12 and 13 are the great filter. This right here, if you're really like gonna be able to like ReZero or like accept it, bro, and like Subaru, this is it right here. The great filter, bro. That's crazy. The lowest is like the crazy moment in episode 12 and 13, bro, of like Subaru's like mistake and like the whole, you know, you have a debt that you could never repay, and that entire Emilia stuff. Like, wow. If it was now, it's probably like 8 to 10 every episode. Yeah, true. Like again, these ratings is also something to keep in mind. Season 1, the reason season 1 is like this because that's like the 2016, 2017 dark era of like ReZero, and people like not really caring for the writing and not understanding it. So that's why like they see this shit and they don't like it. But then episode 15 though, wow, episode 15, y'all. This is impressive. 9.7, but it's oh wait, I'm like in the way. I'm like in the way. Oh my god, maybe I should just move over here. Right here. Like this right here, y'all. Hold on. Are we good? We good. Like the fact that episode 15 is 9.7 goes to show how good this episode is. The fact that like 10 years later is 9.7. Oh wait, no. Oh, this is old. Oh, that's this is old. This is old. Not even season 4. Oh, okay. So this season 3 stuff. Okay. But still, the fact that it's 9.7 after that long is impressive. Episode 18 is 9.1. Right? 9.1? And yeah. Damn. Okay. But yeah, I do agree with that though. I do enjoy episode 18 more than episode 15, so you know. But the reason that I also accept episode 15 as being your favorite is because the fact that it's like a cinematic masterpiece. You know? Like it's a cinematic masterpiece, like, you know, the score, the shocking factor, like I can see why. You know what I mean? I can see why. But overall, it's still like, you know, very good. Wow. Okay. All right, that's interesting, bro. I might keep my cam over here because like I think he like normally like shows stuff on the right. Latest ratings? Do we look? We can take a look at that later. We can take a look at that later because I'm gonna keep going the video here. We took a look here. Okay.
I have gone forth and said multiple times, it doesn't matter, especially.
What do we just look at it now? You know what? Let's just fucking go for it. Let me fucking go for it. Let me take a look here. Let me take a look here. Let me pull this shit up to get like a little more context on the ratings here. Go down. Ah, okay. I see. So these are like now. These are like now. Oh shit. Look at it, season 1. Oh, it actually went higher. Episode 15 is 9.8. They're higher now. Yeah, episode 15 9.8 and episode 18 9.3. These are my 2 GOAT episodes, so I'm glad that they're like, you know, really loved. And the fact that it's like 10 years later and they still got this number too. And then of course, episode 12. Damn. Wait, why does episode 12 have even a lower rating than episode 13? Damn. They did not like the I guess like the Subaru stuff from like the Royal Selection, huh? God damn, what the fuck? Let's look at season 4. Oh wow. Okay. I'm not trying to okay. This is really good, but let's keep in mind it's like very recent. Okay, let's keep in mind because like a rating from for example, like a rating from 9.8 for episode 10 is not the same as a 9.8 for episode 15 because it's been 10 years. So this is more impressive, but this is still really good. 9.8 recently, dude. 9.8, 9.8, 9.9, dude. 4 nines in a row. 5 nines. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 nines in a row. That's impressive. That's really good. Yo, episode 11 from the hype, it better be like 9.9, bro. That's crazy. Here, like like yeah, like the build up stuff from episode 5 is still an 8, but still really good, really high. Episode 3 also got 9.8, 9.5, and even the weakest episode. Okay, the weakest episode of the season, episode 1, 8.6. Season 4 is going on a generational run, man. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Season 4 is going on a very generational run. Okay, wow. All right. Okay. Damn, that's crazy, dude. Yo, the W link. Thank you. Who sent that out? Therefore, right? Therefore, thank you, bro. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Nowadays there is an issue with IMDb ratings and mal ratings and so on and so forth because for whatever reason it has just ever since Breaking Bad, people noticed Breaking Bad had like a 10 out of 10 episodes
Yeah.
and Attack on Titan season 4 started airing back in 2020. It has just become a war amongst fandoms across any media to go ahead and either review bomb 10s
Yep.
or review bomb 1s. There is
Yes, yes. The review bombs. That's why these ratings don't really they don't really matter in terms of it's like hard to say that like they don't matter. It's hard to say they don't matter because they kind of do because it's like the main like rating thing that people look at. So you kind of feel like I feel like it kind of does, especially for like the average person. It actually matters a lot because for the average person, they don't know that review bombs are a thing. Um, but yeah, I do remember the Attack on Titan review bombs, man. I love AOT so much. The fact that they review bombed it like that, right? Used to have 29.9 episodes. That's so annoying. I think I saw a picture a long time ago on TikTok about like AOT before review bombing, and it was like beautiful. It's still really high though, right? Like I'm pretty sure Attack on Titan is still really high. Like I'm pretty sure it's like really fucking high though. It's just it could have been obviously much higher. That's so annoying. Like review bombing is so cringe. Like it's actually so fucking cringe, dude. There's no way you're that jealous of your favorite series getting like overtaken like that. That's such loser shit, bro. What the fuck?
go ahead and either review bomb 10s or review bomb 1s. There
And then also they do it on a ReZero as well, and they just review bomb it with 1 star. It's like what?
is no such thing as honest ratings anymore. But as I was saying, the fact that ReZero fans and novel elitists mixed with, these REM fans and these YouTubers with liquid room temperature IQs go ahead and culminate
Yeah.
this together, it led to, as you could see, season 1 of ReZero having much worse ratings, and season 2 too, than season 3 and season 4, which obviously, there is some sort of impact from those IMDb ratings, as arbitrary as they are what a lot of people look to see if a show is good. Or you could talk about the mal ratings, whether you do that or not. And in my opinion, you shouldn't. You should just watch something yourself. It does give you a general idea of what the general audience thinks about the series.
Exactly. This also is pretty much also what I mentioned, like about like the average person will not care or know about certain review bombs. What do I mean? For example, someone who only watches live action shows and doesn't really watch anime or knows about anime at all, for example. Or maybe someone that does watch anime, but they just don't know about review bombing in general and the culture. A lot of people look up the ratings to see, oh, let's see how good this show is, right? Let's see the ratings. The average person will go and see that shit. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? It's a 6? It's a 6.5? Damn, okay, so it's kind of mid, like a little like above mid, okay. But then like it got review bombed and the show's actually good, for example. You know what I mean? Like that's annoying. Because for a lot of people, for a lot of us, we know that these ratings don't really fucking matter and we just watch a show. But for a lot of people, they don't even fucking know. And they'll just look these ratings up and they'll be like, what the fuck? Okay, so this show kind of sucks. But it's review bombed and they don't know. It's annoying.
Of what the general audience thinks about it.
Hero episode went from number 1 to 90. Hero episode. Season 3, was it episode 18, right? 17? Fuck, I fuck up the number. I know what episode, the one that with Levi and with the Beast Titan? Oh my god. There's no way that one it was number 1 and it got dropped that far. That's crazy. I love that episode so much. 17, I think. Yeah, I think 17 sounds a little more correct. Yeah. Damn. Dude, people actually like get that butthurt, bro. Wow. That's insane.
Shouldn't, you should just watch something yourself. It does give you a general idea of what the general audience thinks about the series. And so when you look at these ratings, they tell a bit of a story themselves. You could see when Subaru, by the ratings itself, is not acting like himself and is
Yeah.
being a jerkwad, as you could see with episode 13's rating. Or
Yep.
you could see a moment where, it's a dialogue heavy episode, or the cinematic masterpiece, episode 15, just off of that alone. And so what
Mhm.
I'm getting at here is, ReZero has seriously been limited by these ratings, by its own fans, by literally just everybody. I don't know
Everything.
how else to say
Everything.
it. This series has been disrespected, and on so many different levels, whether it be by those YouTubers, whether it be by its own distributing platform, whether it be by its own, I guess you could say, light novel distributing platform with, Yen Press and their issues regarding ReZero and their
Yeah.
issues with the translations, or by its own literal readers who go ahead and just disrespect everything about the anime because it doesn't perfectly adapt 10 to 10, 1 to 1 what they are trying to witness from the
Exactly.
novels. And
It's literally everyone. It's literally everyone, bro. Legit. Like it's everyone is sabotaging, bro. Like every side is sabotaging. Like, what do we do?
so it's all of these factors together that truly lead me to the conclusion that ReZero is a uniquely hated upon series. It is a
Mhm.
uniquely disrespected series, one that you don't come across this very often. I'm trying to think of other examples, and I mean, maybe I could think of something like
When did you just read? That's fine. That's fine. You just read, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. What? No, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, yeah, it's fine. It's chill.
you don't come across this very often. I'm trying to think of other examples, and I mean, maybe I could think of something like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but that nowadays is held in extremely high regard.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. Yeah, Genesis. Wait. Go back. Let me go back a little bit here.
One that you don't come across this very often. I'm trying to think of other examples, and I mean, maybe I could think of something like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but that nowadays is held in extremely high regard.
Mm.
But there was a time where it wasn't, and it was disrespected on its own lens. Or maybe you could say Attack on Titan, but I feel like there is some valid criticisms that lay with.
Yeah, I've heard about this. I've heard about this. Like Neon Genesis Evangelion stuff, right? Like I've heard about that. Like apparently, like I don't know if it's a series as a whole, like the main character, but I've heard like stuff like that. That yeah, like there's so many examples of anime like that,
You
man.
could say Attack on Titan, but I feel like there is some valid criticisms that lay within that. But what I'm getting at here is
Yeah.
that ReZero is subjected to its own little isekai corner, its own little box. And, when you mix in with the ratings and all these other
Correct.
factors, people refuse to actually give it a chance and treat it like it's a media as a whole. If the term isekai didn't exist, ReZero would be held as a, I guess you could say, a psychological fantasy
Yes.
thriller. I don't know how else to explain it. Probably like a psychological time traveling fantasy thriller, which, you hold it in that lens and it sounds a lot more interesting than when you just hear the term isekai. What
Yes. He's making such a good point here, bro. Like you imagine if ReZero didn't have the isekai label and it was just like a psychological thriller, horror, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would be we would be having a different conversation right now. I feel like ReZero would be in such like a different spot, bro. Should be labeled dark fantasy, yeah. Like if it was labeled something like that, dude, the amount of difference that it would have done for its like reputation, I think would have been even like way better, bro.
a lot more interesting than when you just hear the term isekai. What I'm getting at is that it is so much more than just an isekai. And I know
Yeah.
semantics, not a big deal, just a
Mhm.
term. But for me, it's just annoying because, you get into these discussions with people. You'll get into discussions on the internet, whether you like to admit it or not. I know, I'm sure you guys are perfect and you don't argue with people ever. But, and a topic like a
Yeah.
series like ReZero will come up and people will go ahead and not even give you the light of day and laugh you off and be like, oh, ReZero, huh, that isekai. And it's just kind of like, come on, which, you could say, like, is it even worth putting in the effort to talk to people like that to begin with? Probably no. But at the end of the day, you have to question, okay, well, if it didn't get misconstrued under this label or, like misrepresented, would that still be a thing? Would that topic piece even go to that direction? Or would you actually able to get a honest discussion? I just think it's that when you
Exactly. Like what if it just didn't have the isekai label? Like what would we talk like? How would we be talking about ReZero? Like hell, right now I think it's a masterpiece, but I feel like a lot of people just like disregard it and don't even give it a chance because of that, bro. And especially with like all the stuff happening outside, right? There'd be no brain rot funk at it. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of the stuff outside as well, like the novel readers and Crunchyroll and a lot of outside factors, creators, kind of like, you know, worsening like the like worsening or like making it like or it's like simplifying is like the word that I'm looking for here, like the ReZero plot and all that. It just sucks. It just does so much damage, man. So it sucks, bro.
Thing, would that topic piece even go to that direction, or would you actually able to get a honest discussion? I just think it's that when you mix all of these factors with the character designs and Subaru's unliking this at the start, which by the way I wouldn't change that for the world. I'm not talking
Yes.
about any like the story aspects of ReZero. I think they do an amazing job unfolding the story and the pacing. ReZero gets just disrespected on a unique level that I don't see any other series out there really getting this kind of treatment, and that's why I haven't
Real.
minded the LARP phase as of recently, and all of these people coming in talking about Ore Monster, or I guess it's Axe Guy now, because it's talking about actual substance within the story. And even though it is undeniably annoying and it is silly and it is stupid and it is overplayed, it is bringing in a new crowd of people to.
He's pretty much saying the LARP is good. And you know what? I agree. ReZero, I think it's like at its most popular right now. From the looks of it at least, right? Bro, Ore Monster. Now we got Axe Guy. The LARP beams and the brain rot low key helping ReZero. Okay? The popularity is increasing because of that. So, I guess that's a good thing, right?
And even though it is undeniably annoying and it is silly and it is stupid and it is overplayed, it is bringing in a new crowd of people to
Mhm.
ReZero who may have never even given it a chance before. And
Yes.
especially when they're going under this silly guise, that it's about an ore monster and they get thrusted into, and it's actually a wholesome story, or I guess I shouldn't say wholesome, but a fulfilling story about self love, self worth, the importance of cultivating connections with the people around you, the importance of relying on the people around you.
Hmm.
I can't help but be excited at that thought. And,
Exactly. I think it's very exciting, very good that people who are like LARPing or like only know about Ore Monster, they actually get into the experience and they're like, holy shit, like that's really good. That's like proof of like the LARP and like the brain rot beams actually doing good. Because people who like only know about that and they're like, all right, let me actually give the series a chance, and they notice how good it is and how beautiful the themes are. It's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? And it really helps the series and the image of it as a whole.
importance of relying on the people around you. I can't help but be excited at that thought, and excited at the thought of somebody being impacted by a series that I
Mhm.
myself was impacted by so much. But yeah, guys, this
Yes.
video was really just a rant. I can't stand the weird disrespect ReZero gets, whether it be,
Real.
I've already said this like 10 times throughout the video, whether it be through, the YouTubers, or, its perception, or the IMBD ratings, or so on and so forth. It's just something that has always driven me insane. And there are undeniably aspects of ReZero, at least in my opinion, like the
Mhm.
character designs, that are always going to hold it back a bit. But if were able to extrapolate and get rid of those other aspects that I had just mentioned, I think ReZero would be a lot more popular than it is and get a lot more love than it does. But
Correct.
yeah, with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say or think about this regarding, the popularity and
Yeah.
ReZero kind of being in this unique space of, I guess you could say, being undermined and, belittled within the anime
Mhm.
community just because it's an isekai. But yeah, anyways, though, let me know what you guys think below.
Okay, and that is that.
People from ever.
W. What a W. This was an amazing video, man. First time watching you know, Barneyslayer's like video, like YouTube video, right? Obviously how I mentioned in the intro, how like I've seen like his TikTok, and I really appreciate, I really like how he analyzes the characters and how he speaks about ReZero, right? I absolutely love how he does that. This video was amazing, bro. Very well put, very well like spoken. Like like the points that he made here, right? About ReZero and the isekai genre as a whole, right? Like it's just put in such like a like the label of isekai, right? It's just like does not help ReZero. Then the creators also makes it worse. Then the just like all of that, right? Creators, novel readers, hell, even Crunchyroll himself, the marketing, like stuff like that is what really like shows the real disrespect and what people, people putting it off and putting it away and all that, and just the disrespect, right? Peak, bro. Absolutely amazing video. I enjoyed it. You did an amazing job. Shout out to Barneyslayer, original video. Link in the description. Peak, bro. That's going to be it for today, man. If y'all enjoyed and you're new, subscribe, leave a like down below, and I will see you guys next time, man. See you guys.